Joburg, good day, everybody. This is Steve. We are live on YouTube for episode 239. Gee whiz, that's a lot of episodes. I see there are already 16 folks in the live chat, but don't worry, you don't have to stare at my face this whole time. I'm gonna bring in my boys. We got Paul. What? That's not Paul. Who's
Whoa,
that?
by the power of Joburg.
How are you doing, Deadly Pencils?
I'm good, my dude. How are things there in sunny Australia?
The sun ain't shining just yet, man. It's just after 6 a.m. So
Oh,
I am wired. Yeah, bedtime wasn't long ago. But don't worry, you don't have to look at the beard force. Let's get some clean-shaven Joburg members up in here. It's Rob.
Hey, it's me. How's it going,
Beard
guys?
force. That's what I meant to say.
Bird
It's a
force.
ah yes,
More like
but
burn force. Butt force.
for this special occasion, the full squad is in attendance. I'd like to introduce him as West Coast Cujo, but he don't live there no more. Hello, Cujo. Welcome. It's Colorado in the house.
he's Denver Cujo.
True. Greetings,
Colorado.
friends.
Hello.
Hey,
Mile High Cujo
and a
at
special
your service.
greetings to, indeed, Mile High. He's at altitude, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone who's joining us in the live chats. This is going to be very exciting. But before we kick off the proceedings, I would just like perhaps everyone watching this and everyone in the future watching this or listening to this to just give my man Rob a very happy birthday and many happy returns. He
Ah.
celebrated a big one this past
Ooh.
week.
So big. 39.
Yeah, it's the end of
One
your
to go,
30s,
and
man.
I'll be an old man.
How does it feel,
Never,
dude?
Rob.
How does the
30, I
future
mean,
feel?
halfway to death, I guess. I mean,
Only halfway.
only.
All
Oh,
right.
God, okay. What are we aiming for? 60.
Yeah. Well, look, I hope it was a good one. Anyways, I'm spinning my wheels. Does anyone have any opening remarks before we crack open on GI Joe's 40th anniversary? I've just gotten a reminder on my phone that's hilarious. Watch GI Joburg live.
No ways. You should do that. We should all do that. I'm going to
Just
do it
that
right
my
now.
wallet is gonna hurt. That's my opening remark after everything that's happened and everything that I know we're gonna talk about. My wallet is screaming. So,
Third wallet.
Kuj, we haven't seen you in a while, man. Anything you want to say up top before we start talking about new toys? Whew. Oh, he's taking a sip of that cut and shaking his head. So I'm going to proceed with a slideshow. Courtesy of Full Force. Why bother gathering your own news when you can just parrot it straight from Chris? Hey, okay, well, before we start with that, Ryan Sweeney already chucks in $1 for Rob. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you very much. Birthday gift for
birthday,
Rob.
Rob.
Yeah,
That's the
Thank you,
GI Joe
Ryan.
there.
exactly right. Cool. And more on that later, but let's do it, boys. Let's plunge in. I know this might be anticlimactic, but I don't care. I'm going to start with the thing that's got me totally buzzed, and that is Mega Hiss.
Burgers.
Hiss a
Mega hiss. Oh, boys. I think it's fair to say, since I was born in 1984, that I've been waiting my entire life for this. Is that an overstatement?
No, I think that's a pretty fair statement to make. I know for myself, ever since we started this podcast, this is something I've been wanting and I've been vocal about. So, yeah.
I mean, you know what? It made me angry for a time because just like the return to O-Ring, where they said it cannot be done, I felt a similar vibe about having scaled Transformers for GI Joes to sit in. I thought like, this is a line that Hasbro will never cross. Otherwise, they would have done it already. Like both of these properties had their heydays in the 80s. Transformers has certainly had a massive resurgence now. You can't go to a big box appliance store, whatever store, and not see Transformers for sale. I can get them at the damn grocery
Yeah, you
store.
can't. Exactly, you can't throw a rock without hitting a transformer. So
GI Joe hasn't really gotten off the starting blocks in that same way globally. But here we have it, guys. Finally, it's happened. The big day has happened. These two brands have united at long last, properly. And yeah, I'm gonna slow clap that too, because like I say, I've been waiting my entire life for this. Why? Why is it taking this long? Why is it taking 40 years for GI Joe, 38 years for Transformers? Why? And yes, thank you, they're gone. The price point is $90, $89 if you want to be a stickler. I don't know why they still do that. It's so obvious. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's value enough. The box presentation is stunning. Like it's a slide that reveals brown box and then the dude sitting inside. I've actually got a picture of it in package, which this is what also sold me. The fact that it wasn't just a digital render, that at the live stream event, they had the actual thing, not only loose, but in the way it would be presented. You don't like the packaging, Paul?
no, I think it's fine. I just had to be a punk.
Diplomatic.
I just don't like that my stickers are pre-applied. Maybe I'm just.
They're
being
not
full of poo.
stickers. I think those
Oh,
are
they're
paint
tempos.
operations. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
finally, we have we have clarity on where the the GH7C sticker should go.
Allegedly.
And yeah, look, the box art on the classic Hiss puts it on the footboard, the running board on the back. But the blueprints have always indicated it goes in the sort of space between the track and the chassis,
yeah, like
that kind of floating
in
space. In there, you gotta get a tweezer up in there.
You got to get in there. But dude, just before we get like too far, let's just do a small shout out quickly to everybody that is checking us out and in the comments. Hey everybody, it's good to see you guys. Just gonna throw out a few names there. We've got They Gone, we've got Moonlight 47, Tetsuo's Wrath, the GI Joburg guys. No, I'm just being cheeky. MC DJ ACDC is in the house. Yeah, Sergeant Slaughterhouse. Hey buddy, Anything Joe's. Darren Cobb is here. ZK or ZK if you prefer. Chasing 80s Toys. Wow. Old Schoolers here. Ryan Sweeney. Hey Ryan. And also Mark Van Leeuwen. Ben 421. We have got a full house up in here, gentlemen. It's very, very
Outback
cool to
Stew,
see.
Moonlight 47.
There we go. Thank you. As they're popping in, so it's
Right
really
on.
amazing.
Mark,
So just a
Mark
big
shares my
yo.
sentiment.
Yeah.
He bought it immediately when he saw it announced. It is a dream come true. Yes. Baroness and Megatron. Oh, like we say in the title to this episode, two great flavors that just taste great together. Rob, do you have an opinion to share on the Transformers mashup?
It's about time, I think. They should have done this ages ago. But I mean, it's cool that they finally did do it. I hope there's more. They have
occurs
do
to
more.
me-
We have to get a GI Joe version now.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, with Megatron released, it's only a matter of time before Optimus Prime. I was about to say opposite Prime, like opposite number, his opposite number, Optimus Prime. There we go. Is released in some way, shape, or form, because that's how Transformers work. You don't have a Megatron in a wave without an Optimus Prime to match him. But Rob, specifically to us, do you realize it was a Transformer / GI Joe mashup that got us back into Transformers in the first place? Like we'd held off on the Energon toys until we saw that they'd released something called Snowcat, which looked like a snowcat. And that was it, man. When the bug bit, we had to buy like absolutely everything that Energon produced. We were going to that Toys R Us in Takai like weekly.
Over and over again. I mean, you couldn't fit your Joes in it, but at least it was a GI Joe Transformer.
You can imagine
And-
it'd be like, and then zoom out.
Well, guys, they
stop,
included they included the damn windscreen wiper. I mean, if that isn't a love note to any lover of a GI Joe toy, I don't know what is. Like like no, I don't think any Transformer before then had included a functional windscreen wiper. But because the Snowcat 85 had it, Snowcat 2003, I'm gonna say, had it. Yeah, man, oh man. Like my observation, like I've been playing with my retro hiss, courtesy of Gary V, non-stop since the announcement, just working out the mechanics of the transformation. And I will say two observations. Well, I've got several, but like um, this is not a masterpiece transformer at all. Like Mega Hiss is very much more basic in its engineering. It's a lot flatter panels. It's got a lot more shell forming, which is the Transformers term for like it's basically the Hiss tank parts sit on its back, and it's actually removable as a kind of a backpack. So you can take the gun turret and much of the cockpit canopy off him, and just leave him a little bit cleaner. Obviously, the back portion of the Hiss becomes a shield. So that's also like total parts forming. You actually kind of remove it and replace it on the figure. The legs kind of hollow looking, but that's something you're used to as a fan of modern Transformers. The fusion cannon is completely hollow by the looks of things. Like they're not even trying to fill in the underside. It is open. But therein lies the beauty. Anyone who's got Masterpiece Transformers knows that they are beautiful, they are perfect, but they take about 45 minutes to transform. And that's being liberal with your timing. Like you can come at it for over an hour in some cases and just like be finagling pieces. This looks like it will be quick and easy, nasty fun to transform back and forth. 28 steps. And a lot of flat surfaces mean that it's a fairly basic Transformer. So it is the Transformers equivalent of an O-Ring Joe in that it's not trying to be hyper realistic and hyper modern. It is meant to be a fun toy that you can put your Joes in, or Cobras in this case. And there's that packaging shot. As we say, it's a GI Joe and Transformers kind of split packaging that you slide out, sleeve style, to reveal the brown box beneath.
I love that because one side's a classic Transformers box and the other side's a classic Joe box. You know, they've got
featuring new art for both.
Yeah.
And the art is spectacular. We'll brook no complaints about this Joe art because it is for all intents and purposes doing the Hector Garrido thing. I mean, Baroness is even pointing like in a Snake Eyes style.
Guys, I saw something interesting here in the comments. Robert H says that the box has an Easter egg that implies the next one will be Bumblebee.
Ooh.
I'm not surprised. Bumblebee is this generation's Optimus in a lot of ways.
Well, it's one of the more well-known ones now because of the movies.
I mean, he's the leader of some force as
some
well,
intel on this? What does he mean?
Well, I'm sure Robert H is busy attacking that keyboard
Furiously
now
typing it.
to give us hints on that. But like we can speculate. I mean, I'm fairly certain it's going to be that. I know that when we were talking off air, we had mentioned possibly Hound, and I know the Hound is like the easiest one to go for. But yeah, I think it's definitely. I think Bumblebee makes a lot of sense, and there being an Easter egg, kind of pushes me in that direction as well.
Great suggestion from Chris from Chasing 80s Toys. The Combaticons would make perfect Joe vehicles. Absolutely. Or Cobra vehicles, because they'd probably be allied to Decepticons. But yeah, I take your point, man. Absolutely. Though, we're not about to get a Crusader shuttle to be, what was his name? Blastoff.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it Blastoff? The mind races. Maybe they could
Yeah.
make something new. Oh, Stella Stiletto. That would fit the right size. Oh my goodness. Imagine a combiner.
Thrust.
If one of the limbs is already this big, or the central piece is already this big, a combiner will be like the tallest combiner Transformers has ever created.
So
Alright.
one of the real questions is, how long do you think they've been kicking this around for at Hasbro? Like, I can't imagine this is a new idea for Hasbro. Like,
Well, if GI Joe is celebrating its 40th this year, Transformers will be celebrating its 40th 2 years from now. So I'm going to dial the clocks back 2 years and say, yeah, it's been probably 2 years in the making. But, for fans, it's been a pipe dream all our lives. Even All Out Back Stu says, I'm not big on Transformers, but I really, really want this. Yeah, it's sent shockwaves through the fandom. Pun intended.
It reminds me a lot of one of the smaller Transformers figures that came out for the Revenge of the Fallen. Was that like they did that whole mech tech concept, and they did Transformers that weren't really robots. They were more like exosuits and things. And I've got one in particular that turns into an exosuit with tracks, and it's actually got the turret on the back. This reminds me a lot of that. It's actually very cool. Robert H, here we go. Robert H says, it's the text on the inside box that had file card looking graphics. One of them talks about an enemy scout vehicle classified as B and that it packs a powerful sting. Okay.
Cool.
Ooh,
Very cool.
Do you think we'll get a Megatron file card?
Probably a tech spec.
In multiple languages.
Yes. Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, tech spec would be cooler.
How are they doing tech specs these days, Paul? You're up on modern Transformers.
They're not really. It's weird. It's they did a line where they did a few of them sort of kind of, and you got a little bit of red stuff to like go over, but that was more to see the path of the arc. And then they do this thing with a sticker, and then you peel off the sticker and you're like, ooh, it's a sticker with another sticker underneath, and I don't know what to do with the sticker on the top now. So
Right away.
it's very weird. Yeah.
Shall we
Gold
change
Iron.
track a little bit? And I know this is something that isn't necessarily toy related, but it certainly is near and dear to our hearts, particularly West Coast Cujo. I mean, Colorado Cujo. The other
CC.
bit of news that was kind of wedged into this 40th anniversary live stream was talk about IDW's Saturday morning cartoon series. IDW, kind of on the eve of losing the license, I'm very pleased to see Hasbro pushing them in this way, because it's all too easy to like show them the door and let them see themselves out. But the fact that the comic books are integral to this 40th anniversary celebration, and that they're bringing the silent issue back, all this sort of thing, the timing is obviously planned. It's all part of the rollout of GI Joe Mania. So it's nice to see that they featured IDW in their stream. Some cool news. Cuj?
Too little, too late, though.
Well, no, the decision's been made, right? Unless they're going to surprise us and say, "Ha, gotcha!" They're actually renewing the license. We're not going to give it to the other guy. What's his name? Help me, Paul.
Robert Kirkman.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or they actually are doing that on purpose. IDW wants to focus on multimedia, and they're handing off the comic to somebody who's maybe better.
I'd like to not get into to judgment calls like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Value
saying
judgments like that.
maybe better. I don't know.
IDW's stewardship of GI Joe hasn't been bad.
No.
It's the regurgitation of ideas, because we lay the writing duties at one man's lap, and he's kind of been doing it for a while. It's like, okay, I guess I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing then. Cujo, sorry man, I care to give us an opinion on all and sundry. I know you bring the fire when it comes to IDW.
I assume you're talking at me, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm experiencing a little bit lag. I don't know if I am on your end, but
A little bit,
I
yeah.
will salute everybody in here. Okay. I'll try and not to speak like C-3PO in a blender, but yeah, IDW has definitely been an interesting journey. I don't have too much to say on their current iteration, because I think a lot of things factor into it. But yeah, are we talking the comic? Are we talking the tank? What do you want to hear first?
Oh, let's do comic, man. Because they did include it in the live stream, I think it's important to maybe deal with that before we get into the classified reveals, of which there are numerous.
Well, I would say that the first thing I should probably qualify is say that who I'm not for, and that's not, I'm not speaking for the fine gentlemen in this room who have created an equitable platform, which I appreciate. I'm definitely not speaking for the trolls. I would say that Joe is a brand at 40, and some of us are already 40 in this room, so cheers. But you should know who you are by 40, and I don't know if the current iteration of GI Joe knows who they are. They're venturing into O-Ring, they're crossing over with Transformers, which worked on occasion, but does not resonate. And of course, you know, we have I hope I get this right, the declassified. But yeah, as for IDW, if you're enjoying that cartoon comic, that's not a bad move. But wasn't it, somebody's already written the third season of that. It would have been nice if that direction, they didn't do that. And as for like Larry Hama and A Real American Hero, I would like to pat him on the back, but I feel like they put him in Spin Cycle and use him as kind of a shield to promote other versions of GI Joe that have or have not succeeded. So I'll take that criticism, and I have a platform and a live stream, so if you ever want to step up to that, can. But yeah, I'm still waiting for GI Joe to, or I guess Hasbro to a degree, to recognize their fans. And are we talking about the live stream yet, or no?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Any kind of tidbits of information in that jumped out at you?
Well, I think that like there was a rap up front, knowing is half the battle. But honestly, I was like, well, this ain't Wordbird, and it surely isn't D80, who both have skills. So I went to look to see who did the rap, and they didn't even credit them. So I don't know who they were, but once again, they did not take advantage to help the community out.
Yeah,
I
I thought that was a bit like poorly played. Sorry. Like,
I mean,
we support
not using word burglar is one thing, but to not credit whoever did it, that sucks. That just speaks of like corporate anonymity. It's like,
well, I didn't see the details.
We only want you to think about the music or the jingle and not go any deeper and research who did it, because you know maybe they did some stuff that Hasbro finds questionable. Or like, oh man, I don't know. The mind races as to why they did that, but it does smack of like just buying the product and not incorporating the artists themselves. Because whoever that guy was, he had skills.
Yeah,
I'm no rapper, but like it was pretty tight. The lyrics were great.
They were fun, but like once again, they could have leaned hard into using word burglar. I mean, and it's not just because we know the guy, and that we dig the guy, but he's done it himself. He's done the whole GI Joe rapper thing himself, and I don't want to just like pigeonhole him as being the GI Joe rapper. I mean, he's definitely like a time machine to that, to the past in that respect with his lyrics and whatever. But I just thought that was not cool of Hasbro. They could have really done that. In fact, they actually did that as a separate video clip on YouTube. It's a separate video. You can find it on YouTube.
That's the thing that I saw first before I dived into the 2+ hour live stream.
So I saw that and I was like, this is not word burglar. This is not right.
GI Joburg, not approved.
Yeah, but
to get us back onto the comics, anything Joe's chimes in. He says that he appreciates what IDW was willing to try, especially the Paul Aller book. They even rebooted the universe, and that grew on him for a few years. Yeah, absolutely. They did try some racy stuff before they've backpedaled back into the comfortable, tried and true I think that the general sense, both in the fan base and in the publisher's mind, is that like the only book that sells and sells marginally is the one penned by Larry Hama. And let's not forget about the fact that IDW is losing not only GI Joe but Transformers as well. Mark van Leeuwen says James Roberts was amazing for Transformers, but IDW did not handle GI Joe well, in my opinion, especially on the crossovers. Okay, so on balance, yeah, it seems like there's kind of a lukewarm reception going on there. And Sergeant Slaughterhouse. He couldn't help but notice they omitted Sergeant Slaughter from the opening of History of G.I. Joe. And that's probably a rights issue at this stage. Like, they need to pay the man. He's a real person. He's got a likeness rights. And right now, Bobby Valler's giving him a residual. And Mattel's probably giving him a residual. But Hasbro hasn't renewed. And I don't know if there would be conflicts there. Like, I'm not down with the legalities. Certainly conflict if they made a classified series Sergeant Slaughter. That would be direct conflict with Valorverse Sergeant Slaughter. But who knows? It's a tangled mess. And money talks, bullshit walks. Carry on, Googe.
Yes and no. I mean, we're at an interesting intersection where community is now arguably as loud as the brand. So I will always support, let me put it this way, that like, let me ask you gentlemen, do you remember the title of your first psychology book? I know, just bear with me. Your first psychology textbook.
Who studied
psych? No, probably not.
I didn't do psych.
Probably not, no.
Yeah, dude, the closest I got was I did criminology, but I didn't have to do an intro in psychology.
All right, let me ask that question again.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last paragraph of Psych Out's file card? I think you do.
I defer to this man.
Maybe Psych Out Supersonic Fighters. I didn't have Psych Out 87, Cooch. He wasn't released in my country. I'm convinced.
But we've read it at least once.
I take your point. Yeah, I mean, what is your point,
with my refrigerator? I guess I would make the point that, people always say, why are grown men arguing about toys and their brand? And I would say, was G.I. Joe a toy or was it education? And the last paragraph on Psych Out's file card is this: if somebody's constantly in your face about selling you a certain brand of cookies, eventually you're going to start eating those cookies. I'm not ready to eat Hasbro's cookies right now. I think that there's a lot of growth that can be done on the brand side, and I will promote until I'm done promoting. I will always stand by G.I. Joe because it taught me near every resonant note. When Hama was on fire, I won't forget those words. So I'll eat the G.I. Joe community cookies. But yeah, I don't quite understand what their goal is. If their goal is to make G.I. Joe basic, then yes, I do understand that goal. But aside from that, the community continues to support. And you know what? I may not be a G.I. Joe character. Codename Cujo might be action force. You never know. Because I will stand the folks that I understand. I'm not going to comment on the hosts or the editors, whom I know can't dance. But yeah, I stand with G.I. Joe, a real American hero. I'm just not sure who that is right now. You feel me?
And you're not prepared to eat the cookies. But one man in attendance who's definitely eating all the cookies is my man Paul. And I'd like you to take us through the classified selections for the time.
Oh my goodness. He's eating all the cookies. He wants the
all
classified.
all the classified cookies. Num, num, num. Maybe
we've shown a lot of digital renders, not a lot of physical product. But there was some physical product in attendance, and we'll get into that later. But first up on the digital renders, everybody's favorite Dreadnought, it's Serana.
Yeah, I wonder if she's got the film in her earrings.
Oops.
So, like, not that long ago in an episode on this very podcast, we were talking about like our wish list for classified Joes. I'm sure you guys remember. Serana was definitely up there. And I'm very, very pleased to see that this is actually happening. The real question I have is, will she come with an alternate head? And the reason I ask is, it would be cool to get her like more punky mohawk head as well. But I mean, if not, whatever's, because this face sculpt works for me. I think it's great. I'm super excited. I hit buy the second I saw this in my Big Bad Toy Store pre-order cart. This is the first one in there. Like I was like, oh, where's Serana? I got to like add her, and then quickly it's like, let me. And then after I'd added all of the classified stuff, I was like, whew. And then I saw that, the mega hiss. And I was like, so, yeah.
Did you cancel your other pre-orders?
What? My classifieds? No. I just looked at all the dates and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to work my butt off then, and then I gotta work my butt off then. Gotta put all this money with. Dudes, I am super amped for this. I'm surprised that they've done it as soon as they have, actually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't got like another Scarlet before Serana.
Look, I think everyone's quite intrigued that as far as the Dreadnought is concerned, they led with the chick. But I applaud the diversity. Like, yeah, let's get as many females into the line as early as possible. But yeah, I mean, most people are like, we want Buzzer, Torch, and Ripper. They've been saying that for years now.
Toys, give me toys. Somebody wanted me to do a Cookie Monster. Give me toys.
Say you want a alternate head, would that be the vintage style head?
Yeah, kind of. Like a little bit, like a kind of a mix between the vintage and what they did for the modern era, because the modern era Serana was pretty cool. I like that head sculpt a lot. Where it was kind of like a mohawk. We got like a bit of a faux hawk, not really a mohawk. Yeah, that was really rad.
Rob, buy or pass?
I'm not a very big fan of the Dreadnoks, but I mean, it's nice to see another female character. I won't buy it. Yeah. I think it's Spirit.
Okay, so
no one else.
Rob's wrong. Next one.
Wrong.
Joking, dude.
Spirit's the only one worth getting in all of classified. Actually. But
all right. Next up, Ronald Rudat, Tadur, Dusty.
Okay, so color me surprised, and I use that pun liberally here. I was half expecting him to be Tiger Force decoed first.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Which
like,
is
sell us the Tiger Force before we get the classic to make sure you get 2 sales out of the public. This is an interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess Dusty is that kind of quintessential Joe that you can't make him an I suppose you can make him an exclusive, but like, come on, give the general public a non-exclusive figure, please. Like, all the Tiger Force stuff is what is that, a Walmart exclusive, Target exclusive, Target. Okay, I'm talking to myself.
The Dusty,
no
dude. As far as I know, it might be an exclusive.
I'm saying this is a general release, but Tiger Force and Python Patrol are one of the stores, anyways. It doesn't apply to us. So we don't get the exclusives, anyways. So this would be just tossing everyone a bone, please.
Am I going crazy, dude? I'm actually just double checking my pre-order here because I'm like, as I was telling you,
did I order Dusty?
He's very well
did
dressed
I get
for the
Serana?
desert. I mean, that's a really nice jersey he's wearing.
I'm having like cold flushes now. I'm like, crap,
That's
did
like
I actually
proper,
see it on
like,
the site?
jersey cuffs going on there.
And you're seeing it live on the podcast. Watch Paul lose
made
his
a mistake.
mind.
Okay, guys, so
relief.
my bad. I was
Paul has
like,
pre-ordered
my brain got a
another
bit fried
Baroness.
there. It wasn't Serana. I made sure I had my Baroness in his tank. The Serana's not up for pre-order yet. Like for some reason I thought I did, and I realized the memory I have of something red and interesting is another thing that is available for pre-order now on BBTS. Yeah. Sorry.
All
I
right,
got a
got
bit like
some
excited there.
comments I'd like to highlight. G7M9W, his Havelock doesn't look like it's actual cloth, which is a huge ball drop. Now, Paul, you messaged me on the subject. You thought that the silhouette is a little bit too tight. Like you'd want it to flare out a little bit more. It's more realistic this way. Like the action figure, let's face it, at that scale, that felt is kind of like a blanket. So it would give it a bit more of a wider than realistic appearance. So they've leaned that down and made it fall like natural cloth would. I always was a fan of mixed mediums on a toy, but maybe it doesn't call for the cloth. Maybe I don't know. In the case of G7, he's like, nah, give me the cloth, give me the soft goods, and I get your point. That's absolutely right. But
And I think we might still get it though.
Really,
I've still got
okay.
I've got a feeling we might get the sort of soft goods Havelock on Dusty.
It's wonderful to see that they've got the American flag and the name badge. That's been a detail that we've had to kind of fill in with our minds since
I'm
day
sure the
one.
snipers are very happy as well.
Hey man, you can't argue with that classic card art. Not that we're gonna
No.
get classic card art with this release, unless they make a point of putting it on the new artwork, whatever that may be. But like, yeah, Dusty with that name badge, with the flag, with the GI Joe lapel, like those are beautiful details in my opinion.
Yeah, my thing is, this is a figure that Sideshow, this is a character rather that Sideshow thought was the right idea or was one of the right things to release. So it's cool to finally see Dusty in Classified now. Because if you remember back then, I mean, if you cast your mind back, Sideshow figures were quite a bit more expensive than GI Joes. So, yeah.
Vagon's not mad about the chest cut. At least there's a bit of web gear to kind of hide it in this case. There are far bigger offenders than old Dusty. And Daniel E says that the camera pattern looks too symmetrical.
I agree with that.
Okay, right. And
I
I
was
mean, it
actually
is
about to
obviously
mention the same thing.
really, it's quite a basic camera, but Dusty always did have a rather basic camera. They could do something far more detailed now, far more realistic, but that wouldn't be classic Dusty, right? There was also concern that the goggle spacing, and this is courtesy of Diana Davis, I remember seeing her comments on Full Force's live stream, that the goggles seem a little too tight, like a little too close together to realistically be worn. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I'm done. I agree with her on that.
But
I'm actually,
this is a digital render, and when they start getting them in hand and testing them out, assuming they haven't already, that will probably become apparent. Or
Also,
so we hope.
If you
Hasbro, you do play test this stuff, right?
So if you zoom out a little bit and you see the chest cut, it's super obvious, and that's I think that's got a lot to do with the render. We're not the toys, the actual classified Joes. Okay, mind you, Barbecue's not a very good example of that because he's stomach and stuff is covered, but that isn't that obvious. I think on Snake Eyes it's fairly obvious, but the rest of the Joes, they've been kind of okay. And also, if you look at the back by the Havelock, just above his shoulder, Dusty's right shoulder, our viewing left-hand side, there's a little bit of like cutout there, and I don't think that that's going to be there on the final toy either. I think that's going to be shaded out. So if you go, there we go, you'll see a little triangle shape there just above the web gear. Like it's white.
It's a digital render. This isn't.
It's a
the
digital
final
render,
thing.
so you're not gonna. So it's possible
You
that
can see
when
the
they
separation by the arms. I mean,
Oh,
like,
you can
Yeah.
see the
literally
separation
the-
at the leg articulation as well. This is why I think this
Yes.
like digital render is incredible. Like what? We're actually seeing some gapping where the articulation points would be.
Yeah, but
Like,
that might just.
That's obviously not
yeah.
how the actual toy will be. That's
No,
just
but there's classified
Wait.
figures do have a little bit of gapping there. They should do.
It's not that
Otherwise,
obvious though. It's not that.
Look,
Mine
at it-
isn't.
at it-
And if I hold my Viper up to the light, I can't see through his legs, through his leg spacing. So, yeah. Dude, that is a very much, I don't want to say it's a typical CAD thing, but it is something I see a lot of the 3D modelers do for when they do hard surface stuff, where they tend to play out the render with a little bit of a spacing so that it doesn't actually clash.
We had Dusty's crotch on screen, perhaps a little longer than I'm comfortable. All right, shall we move on from Mr. Rudat? I mean, Tadur.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Am I sharing? Okay, cool. Boom. The CG. Oof, we knew it was coming. This is an example of a brutal chest cut, if you ask me.
Yes. Sorry, I'm gonna say this again. I love the CG, and like, who doesn't? It's one of the coolest things ever. Often with classified figures, you'll hear me go, I really like this, but I'd like them to change this. Or I really like this, but I feel this could be better. You know, there's usually a small but somewhere. I am 150% happy with the Crimson Guard. There's I look at this one shot and I can't think of anything or see anything that bugs me about its design, its proportions, nothing. I know that this is me and this is my opinion on it, but there's nothing wrong with the CG for me.
Well, you might want to see a side profile on the helmets, but like, hopefully, judging from how tight and actually human looking the mask is from the front, hopefully they've got a well-proportioned space for a nose, but not too much to make it look like a dog snout. I mean, like, getting the CG helmet right is very much a three-dimensional puzzle. Yeah, and it hasn't been done correctly in all iterations of this figure. I'm sure you will agree. So he's got what looks like a scabbard and a holster. Imagine his classic kind of like sawn-off shotgun will go in the holster, and the scabbard will have some kind of ornate knife. Yeah, the boots are correct as well, with that kind of like high side that swoop to them.
And they look
the
like
buckle.
the sideshow boots.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, they're very similar to the sideshow boots. I've actually got it in my lounge, the sideshow CG.
And an important point was made about the crimson being the same color used on the Crimson the Crimson Twins, Tomex and Zaymot. To which I say, absolutely, congratulations. Don't pat yourselves on the back too hard. That should have been always the case, but here we go.
Whoa! Wild Gaz has appeared as well. We've got Gaz, we've got Bart, we've got Daniel. We've got a lot of people here,
gentlemen. All right. Any further comments on the CG, gentlemen?
It looks pretty good. It's good for a classified figure.
It's good for a classified figure. But like, Rob, would you get this if you could get your hands on it, or would you go out of your way to get one of these?
I wouldn't go out of my way, no. It's spirit or nothing. That's it. It's literally
spirit or
just
nothing.
spirit. That's the only one that I think I'll put money out for.
And this is the only one that I'm going to almost conclusively guess. No, conclusively guess his accessory loadout, because that's another important thing that you don't get the benefit of with the digital renders. Sure, the figure looks impressive, and I'm pretty sure the physical thing will not look too different to what is shown here. But we don't get the benefit of seeing what the pack-ins are. And oftentimes that's what's selling you a figure, like their interaction with their gear. With the CG, expected to be very, very neat, very minimal. You're going to get his classic rifle and the aforementioned knife and, as I say, a little shotgun, and that's it. Like, that's the CG. That's all he's going to ever need. So yeah, that's my prediction. No additional greeblies and little things. Python Patrol, I'm going to say this is the Trooper. Because it's got the magazine pouches, which was the Cobra officer mold as repurposed as the Cobra Trooper.
Cujo doesn't like it.
Cujo disapproves. He's like, no,
hopefully it's an exclusive,
enough
so
pouches on
we
this.
don't have to buy it.
Well, speak, dude. Cuj, talk to me, man. Unmute yourself. Have at it.
This is probably the crotchety 40-plus-year-old in me. But I believe the first African-American Cobra figure was created by, oh boy, what was it? I'm forgetting his name right now. He's on the What's on Joe Mindcast.
Buzz Dixon.
He was
Mark Webber.
he was a named figure. What was it? Tombstone.
Claymore.
Right?
Tombstone. Yes. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of.
Though, hang
African-American
on.
Cobra soldiers.
He might not be a character, but there's
just
this guy.
because. I know. And I do look, aesthetically, diversity, I get it. But it does kind of, miss the assignment of the original G.I. Joe cartoon, in which there were no people of color on the Cobra team. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to why. But as contrast-wise, it's a decent-looking figure. What say you, gentlemen?
I want to speak to your point, Cujo. I think in the era of the cartoon, we were meant to always assign Cobra as the other, the bad guy, the terrorists to stop from ruling the world. So it was important to put minorities in the good guy camp and keep Cobra this kind of, very, very lily white, bad, evil organization, to not kind of run into racial stereotyping. But nowadays, we got perhaps more people interested in playing out as Cobra, that it's important to see representation there as well. Like, who among us see themselves more as an agent of Cobra than G.I. Joe these days? Like, there are a lot of kind of, I suppose, anti-hero sentiments and people who enjoy Cobra tech, Cobra uniforms, the Cobra aesthetic. You don't have to be a bad person to play Cobra. So I don't know. I'm going to say that the time has come for all walks of life to be in both camps.
I definitely, I'll take that criticism. And I'm nitpicking. I am. I just think it's an important to pass that fact down that the original
and while it might have been in the original brief, yeah. Well, I mean, as you say, while it might have been the original brief to keep Cobra whitewashed, by the second, no, not the second season. This was when this is the traitor. This was Dusty's big story arc when he fought Claymore. Claymore was African American, I believe. I don't know. He definitely had a cappuccino flesh tone in the cartoon.
He did. That's a good looking figure, no question.
But
like, why Python Patrol now rather than?
Well,
I mean,
it's a store exclusive.
Trying to do another variant.
It's to add an opponent to Tiger Force. They've been matched up.
Say it's a foil for Tiger Force. Speaking of Tiger Force, I'm really hoping I can get my hands on Tiger Force Artback from the classified line. That is a figure that is nowhere to order, and I'm sure a lot of guys in the States are also kind of like, ooh.
Paul likes this figure so much he's talking about a different figure.
Yeah, no, sorry, but like, I don't love the Python Patrol officer. It's not my jam. I know it's other people's jam, but it's just not my jam.
I think the officer is less offensive. Isn't he all black with just the Pythonized cross-hatching on his knees? That's
I don't know. I mean,
figure.
Trooper, officer, like...
Whatever we're looking at.
That's money saved for me, yeah.
Doesn't he look like he's wearing like a Python rash vest? I don't know. Having something sort of skin tight of a light Lumo color just makes me think he looks like he's going surfing. Hey, I
think he's going to the rave, but that's me.
And I think we've spoken about him long enough.
Yeah, we've given him way too much screen time. Whoa! There's like a whole bunch of toys from Classified that are missing there. What is happening? What is happening?
We don't care about those.
Well, truth be told, this is the order the photographs are saved on Full Force's Facebook page, which I'm just absolutely parroting. So shout outs to Chris once again. Thank you for the pics and doing all the hard work. It only made sense that his hard work see a bit of extra mileage. But here we have the Super 7 Next Wave. Anyone got anything they want to say on this? They've gone very like lead character heavy in this wave. None of their usual frivolous picks. We've got heavy hitters like Firefly, Baroness, Cobra Commander with the mirror face, a Ninja Snake Eyes, even though they call him Commando on the packaging. We all know this is Snake Eyes version 2, no Timber. Flint and Roadblock, all very Sunbow. Firefly has this kind of blue notes instead of gray.
Which I do like.
Baroness is in her black leather, classic 84 look. Flint has a, what would you call it, a green shirt, a light olive, instead of the black action figure shirt. And yeah, Roadblock is as animation accurate as you're likely to get with a 5 POA mannequin.
Firefly looks cool.
I actually really like that blue Firefly. It's really awesome. And looking at the grey-ish Baroness in the packaging takes me back to my childhood. In the sense of, like how figures that are black on screen, like clad in black clothing, are often released as dark grey figures. So that just kind of brings back a bit of nostalgia. Yeah.
I mean, these are digital renders, but absolutely, she seems like she's not jet black. They've picked a gray palette. Ah, okay. I've not heard that opinion before, which I think you're right. Snake Eyes looks bluish, and so does Firefly, very much to match their.
But I love that for Firefly. Actually, I find him to be a more interesting looking figure with a light blue to him than just the plain gray. I know they're fighting with Cujo, but
the gray isn't the gray. The gray would be cartoon accurate. The blue looks more like several of his early comic book appearances.
I think it's actually, now that you mention it, that's actually quite true. I wonder
that issue where they're like him and Cobra Commander are fending Zartan's cabin off from the Joes in the Mobat, and they've got like not bats, but certainly an android of some sort. Like Zartan had these robots secreted in the swamp. You know the one I'm talking about. But yeah, I think Firefly had like a blue coloring in that issue.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think now. I'll catch him again on an episode of the cartoon and I'll check it out, because in my mind's eye, I'm sort of seeing him as very blue-gray in my, in the cartoon. So I need to double check that.
Oh, Robbie, Carle's got your back. Still no scoop love.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about that. There's still no scoops in the classified line. I like this comment. They will do a scoop next year, maybe an entire lineup of them. You never know.
Yeah, a scoop for all seasons.
Exactly.
As it were.
That'd be so cool.
I love this comment from G7M9W. I have zero interest in 3/3/4 inch figures with substandard articulation, but I must say that the Super 7 stuff looks amazing. They're doing great work. I agree with you. They definitely are doing great work. Doesn't mean I have to give them my money, but I got to say, I think they are doing something very cool there,
And we've spoken about it on the show before. The untapped potential that Super 7 have in terms of the vehicle selection is there. They gave us a dog sled. What else do they have up their sleeve? I mean, surely they've got big plans. Mr. Flynn from Super 7 always bangs on about how big their plans are. Let's see some things. For instance, Mark van Leuven, Super 7, give us a blonde cover girl with a Wolverine. I'm going to add it,
yes,
damn
please.
it, that you didn't add, but I'm going to add it. It feels implied. That would definitely stretch the limitations that I've placed on their line in my mind. I mean, a dog sled is a fairly basic and small scale thing. A Wolverine would be impressive, but hey, shoot for the stars, guys. Why the hell not? Let's move along from the five.
I was gonna say, just before we move along, I gotta mention this comment from LA November 2019. Wonder if they've addressed the squashed nose on Baroness. The blister rubs against her nose on the current version.
Well, this Baroness certainly has a smaller head, so that might be an indication.
I think it's a digital render. I think it's too difficult to say, but
look, surely
that
the
is
proportions
something.
would be. Look, I mean, Cobra Commander's bonce is about as big as it always was, but Baroness definitely shrunken down from. And forgive me, I did actually just delete the picture from our stuff, so I don't have it here to hand anymore. I don't think. Yeah, I had a side by side with Baroness and her 84 figure, but not anymore. Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you got paint rub issues. That sucks, particularly when you're shelling out close to 20 US for one of these figures. No bueno, baby. And then we have Mission Critical. by Renegade
Is he a Target
Studios.
exclusive? Oh, you mean the box? The box next to him. Okay.
You want to buy this guy? It's a miniatures game.
I don't know. It's a very realistic looking toy. Sorry.
I'm very impressed with his full head of beautiful salts and pepper hair. I mean, whoever this guy is, he's got it going on, man. He's got great hair game. But yes, they spoke about Mission Critical, which is a board game played with miniatures, and they showed us a couple of miniatures, and I do have a tasty selection for us of the close-ups. We had Duke, looking very classified series inspired with his boot armor and the matrix of leadership on his lapel. We had Snake Eyes, also, I can't quite tell, but yeah, it does look classified style in some ways.
Obviously, in the version 2 as well.
Oh, yes, very good. Yeah, Pfizer. Cobra Commander, absolutely classified inspired. And then they showed us a little bit of a tease. They're going to perhaps get a cover girl. So, I mean, obviously, Courtney Krieger is going to make an appearance in classified style, but this is just a further evidence that she's imminent.
Is this by the same company that's doing the role-playing game?
Correct. Renegade Studios. This is perhaps my kind of speed when it comes to gaming. Like, it's less involved than a role player. You sit down and play. It's 50 to 70 minutes length, and it's cooperative. So you and your pals take up a GI Joe character each and do battle against Cobra with an increasing level of threat. Starting out with, maybe some foot soldiers, and then the Baroness, and then the ultimate big bad, Cobra Commander, shows up and tears you a new one. Rob, you sometimes played cooperative games as well. You took the foot off the gas from the heavy role-playing, and you guys had some fun, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we did tons of board games. This looks like it could be a lot of fun. We just have to physically be in the same location so we can all play it together. 2032.
In reference to Cover Girl, her pants aren't tight enough. Ha, ha, ha. Where did I put that picture? Yeah. I mean, I think this is some Image Comics or Devil's Due Publishing.
No, that's John Royal, dude.
Oh, good old Johnny Royal. Oh, he knows his audience, that's for sure. I mean, that ass crack is so defined. Those pants are sprayed on. My God. Okay. Make it go away, Steven. I'm driving. I'm so slow. Anyways, boom. Anything else anyone wants to talk about with regards to Renegade Game Studios' various efforts?
Just that it's cool that they're doing it, man.
And
it's
we're
cool.
getting
It's
a
great
lot
for
of
us.
different GI Joe things. We're definitely your sport for choice when you want, how you want your Snake Eyes. Do you want him 6 inches? Do you want him as a tiny little figure you can paint? Do you want him as an O-ring?
As a card?
Do you want him as a higher toy? Do you want him as a card? Do you want him as a cool like ninja dude with 4 arms? Japanese will give you one of those.
Do you want him for sub an hour, or do you want him for 3 days?
Life.
All I can say to Darren Cobb's comments about only 50 to 70 minutes, Steve, where's the fun in that, is, what can I say? I'm all about coming and going. I don't like to take a long time. Oh, geez, that reference is way out of date. But okay, moving on then,
got stuff to do. Anyway.
That reference killed Cujo.
No, he was just like, too much.
Get out of here.
All right. Let me move on. Goodbye, Mr. Renegade Game Studios.
Bye.
Oh, but do you check out what he's got on his mantelpiece?
Yeah, he's got those figures from 3-0. Yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah. I mean, I've seen them demoed on the YouTube channels before, and like, because it's basically like seamless. You don't see an articulation points on Storm Shadow's exposed arms. It's like a kind of a, what is it, like a silicon or rubber?
Like a rubbery silicone vibe,
skin. Yeah. Well, it does interfere with the articulation. You can't, well, I'm never going to say never, because I'm sure someone will manage to get it right online, but he won't hold a Bowman pose. Like, you can't have him drawing his tantalizingly accurate string.
You know what? I canceled my pre-order for one of those.
because they're dainty?
No, I don't mind them being delicate toys. I went to a friend of mine's place, and he has an Ed 209 from RoboCop. He's also got I want to say it's a Batman, the Michael Keaton style Batman from Hot Toys, and that rubber that they use for them is cracked and it pulls apart. And I'm like, no, I don't want to buy a toy that's a time bomb.
Jeez, all right. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, sorry, man. And I mean, I could be completely wrong, but in our climate here in South Africa, it will eat that rubber alive. Yeah, listen, Mission Critical and all those role-playing games and card games, I think they're going to be great for us for the show. I think we can do some interesting stuff with them. I think we could definitely add our own little rules in here and there and make it fun for our listeners and get our listeners involved with something like that. So I think it's a good thing. It's a positive. Also, you know, role-playing is a big thing at the moment, or RPG gaming, tabletop RPG gaming, tabletop board gaming. It's big stuff at the moment, you know? So
yeah, and in my opinion, this allows me ammunition to basically throw away the game pieces and use actual action figures, and throw away the game board and use the world. Go into the garden and play Mission Critical for real.
Save yourself the money.
Yay! Toys.
Tiger Force Recondo.
Guys, I didn't think I'd ever be this excited about Recondo. Like, he's a great character. He's a great character, and he's a cool Tiger Force figure. And then, I mean, I dig him. I dig my Tiger Force Recondo. But yeah, him being released as a classified, I didn't think I'd be this excited about him. And I am. I think it's cool. Look at that face sculpt, man. Like, look at that. That's brilliant.
I'm so glad they gave it kind of an asymmetry. He's definitely got a smirk to him. Like, Yeah, man. It's cool. And it's accurate to the figure that came with the Tiger Fly, except no Tiger Fly. Where's my damn helicopter?
Yeah, this is close-up shots, Recondo.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, we spoke about it a little bit earlier with where we used to play Transformers and GI Joe. Like, you'd have your zoomed out battles with the vehicles and Transformers, and then you'd have your super focused stuff with the action figures.
I'm gonna quickly get in my car.
Yep. But it remains to be seen what his gear is. Presumably he comes with some heavy-duty machete, which will go in that sheath on the side.
Oh God, yeah, the sheath's huge.
And a big gun. I hope he comes with a big gun.
I think, the regular version will look amazing too.
Yeah, no doubt. Bazooka is also included in that Tiger Force rollout with a distressed t-shirt. This is the first time we're getting Bazooka in classified. And it's another example of selling us the alternate first, making sure we buy two figures. But once again, the head sculpt game is knocking it out of the park. The helmet looks removable enough. And speculation. Do you think the hat is removable on Recondo?
Ooh,
I hope so.
It
might be like a Lady J situation where you can take off their hat and give him some hair. Probably comes with that. Hey, but, it works really well on Lady J. So.
Yes, and hair will always be compromised if it has to live under a hat. Trust me, I know.
I think also something that people pointed out with this figure is that the chest joint is different. It's a new chest joint that they've used on, I think, one of the other new figures too.
Okay, yes.
It's
it's not that kind of like weird shape.
T.
Yeah, it's more like a rolly.
I wonder who else does an upper torso shape like that in action figures. Or who may have asked about it the other day.
Don't be coy, Paul.
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of inspiration being taken from Action Force stuff, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. No, credit where credit's due. The Action Force buck has done a lot of things right that Hasbro will flagrantly claim as their own. But hey, whatever. As long as we get cool toys and the articulation isn't an eyesore, power to the consumer.
I have one major issue with this bazooka. I feel like they've once again missed out on an opportunity to give him a cool tiger striped helmet like Roadblocks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's like the only thing that I can think of. But
Darren
I love this.
Darren said, "Sorry, Paul, no fishing gear for Zuka."
Oh yeah, well it's okay. It's okay. I'm sure. Gridiron will come up with something for me. They'll come up with the bazooka
fishing kit
island agent set for me. They'll come up with it. You guys are just like, you're knocking down that idea, and then it's gonna be a really great TV series, and then you're gonna remember that I mentioned this idea. You're gonna be like, damn. Yeah,
is that bazooka?
That would happen.
Or was that Tom Selleck?
Right? No, but exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It works so well. It's so cool.
Look, I will say this much about
bazooka.
The helmet being a tiger stripe or not. Like, that kind of is Tiger Force Roadblock's thing. If everyone was running around with them, kind of dilute how special it is on Roadblock. Like,
that's true.
That is the cherry on top. That makes the figure. This ridiculous bloody pimp helmet. So yeah,
do you think it's sentient?
Stand with this design. Yeah. Do you think he actually skinned a tiger for it?
No, I think it'd be so cool if the helmet was like sentient, like if it like said stuff to him, like
like Road
and
Trooper.
stuff. Yeah, it'll be great.
Nice,
cool.
All right,
and also the smoke.
Yeah, head sculpt game on point. I feel so hood when I say that. I'm not really cool at all, but I'll use these catchphrases. So yeah, very Chad. Yeah, play that funky.
It's a green ninja, and what's the next figure? That's my response. Rob,
shut your face, Paul. I love Green Power Ranger.
We
need Dragonzord.
I love Green Power Ranger. I don't like the knockoff.
Yeah,
I don't love the knockoff.
Kamakura was a significant addition that Devil's Due brought into the mix. And he's had ripples that have spanned multiple iterations of Joe. Sigma 6, for instance, they stuck with Kamakura, even though they had plenty of ninjas. They didn't have Jinx and Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. It's like, okay, let's add another guy to our already like quite tight unit. But he comes with the Sean Collins head. I think that's perhaps what makes this figure quite spectacular.
Don't you guys think he looks a bit like that dude from that Heroes TV series?
Yes. Yeah.
Peter something.
Peter
Petrelli. Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, with kind of with slightly more red tones to his hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Sean
Milo Ventimiglia.
That's the name of the actor. Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, but there's a resemblance there.
Son. Sorry.
No, good. He had. Look, I just think that this speaks to how the classified series can still surprise us. Like, who knew they were going to pull something out of that era of GI Joe?
Why does he get an extra head sculpt? Sorry.
Because the head's kind of important to him to set him up as something more than just a green-clad ninja dude. Because otherwise he does run the risk of being very generic. He's like,
that is true.
Slice and dice precursor.
Yeah, so you're saying that just being a green ninja puts him at risk of being quite generic.
In the eyes of people that don't know who the hell this is. At least giving him a head sculpt gives them a few more options in terms of how to characterize him. Otherwise, he's just like Red Ninja, but in green. This is like the GI Joe ninja cannon fodder. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. I'm not sure. This is the first time I've thought about that.
Rob, has Kamakura got any chance of knocking Spirit off the pedestal?
Nice. He's pretty basic. I think some people actually also pointed out it's surprising that they did Kamakura before Jinx.
And Dawn.
Yeah.
And Dawn as well.
Slice and Dice.
Slice and Dice. And a bunch of other characters. It's weird. But if it gets Steven buying classifieds, why not?
So Steve, are you gonna be the one to rock a Kamakura?
Look, I didn't like Kamakura in when he was still a new character. So I'm not about to jump on the Kamakura bandwagon now, but I applaud the decision to make him in the first place. It's like, all right, this is a very eclectic character selection.
Yeah,
but this is the team who gave you an Alley Viper before they gave you Crimson Guard. So like all bets are off. But
from the guys,
Lenny is my age. So
who bought you an Alley Viper?
That kind of tells you
Before
how.
Then guard.
I think you.
Sorry.
I think you muted on your end, Cujo. So not your mic, but something else is muted. You're talking, but we can't hear you. Just so you know.
Technical difficulties. We love them, don't we?
Now.
All right, well,
Now
let's move along from Tom.
Now I can hear you. I mean, what do you have to say about Kamakura quickly before Steven runs away?
Go back to Kamakura for 1 second. Well, first of all, this is the first. There's a couple of declassifieds that have caught my attention. He's a little underdesigned. He does need some more details. But I will say that, and cheers to Josh at Devil's Due. They did do a deep cut, and I think one last criticism of the Hasbro line right now. They're not pushing the brand forward. They're just in spin cycle. They're doing the same thing over and over. So I do salute this pick. I do think Jinx would have been a nicer fit here, but
They did mention that Kamakura comes with some lovely accessories. I seem to recall that being a selling point. Like they obviously couldn't reveal anything, but that perhaps what this figure lacks in sort of like eye-popping appeal, he'll make up for an accessory count and new martial arts inspired accessories. So that could be very exciting. It could be a case
So
of
it's an
the gear
accessory
selling
pack
you the
with a
toy.
ninja. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, basically.
I'm down with that.
But I know you
intrigues me.
definitely down with Mindbender.
Mindbender. So cool. I think this is great. Go Hasbro for being bold on this one. Like, they didn't redesign him. They didn't give him like a jersey or a polo neck. They were just like, let's make
Took
him
from
like
the
this.
original version and just put him out.
I think he's great. Like the Crimson Guard, I can't fault this dude.
They even didn't get creative with the cape. Because, the way capes were done in the old action figure line was they were a flat piece of fabric that had two little armhole cutouts. And you just kind of basically blanket the figure, wrap the figure up in a blanket of cape.
They just made the O-ring figure bigger, basically.
Well, it didn't function like a cape would. A cape would go around the neck, right, or around or over the shoulders, basically. But they've stayed true to the action figure instead of staying true to what capes would normally be like, and it's fun. The monocle is something they made a song and dance about. The fact that it actually magnifies the eye slightly. You can see it in the digital render as well. So it must have a kind of a convexness to the lens.
That's creepy.
Crazy. Or no, it would be concave to give it magnification.
It makes it biggie.
It make a bigger one.
A guy here called Kyle A. I swear I saw Mindbender at the Cape Town Pride Festival. That's part of what gives Mindbender his charm. He does have a bit of that going for him. And
it was my cosplay.
You were like, nice.
Yeah, Pride, baby.
Yeah, no, Mindbender is just such a cool villain, and he's so eccentric and creepy for being what he is. Like, and it's just a whole package, and the whole like S&M vibe to him is also a little bit upsetting in an interesting way. And I actually thought they would completely redesign this dude. I was expecting lots more flash. Let's put it that way. And when I saw him as he is, I was like, fantastic. You kept him the same way. You kept him camp.
Is he not flashy enough with his nipples chafing against those metal straps?
Well, but I like it.
Yeah, it's.
There's no safe word when you're having fun.
All right, enough said. Did anyone else catch the hint that this would be a more deluxe presentation? What could that mean?
Maybe he comes with a seat. Rob.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Something to like extra accessories, maybe. Or like a seat or something. Like he'll be like with Baroness came with the bike. What's his name? Breaker came with the bike. Maybe he'll come with something. Yeah, there, Brainwave scanner maybe.
Yeah. Not a unicycle though, like with missile firing action.
Wheelchair.
You can actually
Grenades.
imagine somebody like Mindbender rocking a unicycle. Actually, it makes
And
sense.
juggling hand grenades.
Eyebrow trimmer.
But isn't he? Eyebrow trimmer. Yeah, man. He's they're pretty unruly, hey? That's some incredible eyebrow manicuring and sculpting. Do you suppose he actually uses a kind of an oil for that? To get those
I
points
hope
right?
so. I hope so. If that happens to him accidentally, it puts the rest of us to shame. You know.
We've got some suggestions. Hopefully, he comes with DNA accessories. Nucleic acid, the building blocks of creation, or whatever he says. Yeah, great.
Do you guys think they'll do the? Do you think they'll do the brainwave scanner inside in a kind of a dental chair kind of fashion? Like it'll be like a really cool diorama piece. I think it would be awesome if they did that.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go, Kyle. Hey, well played.
Oh yes, Photo Viper, Bunsen burner, and beakers. Yeah, basically give him accessories to make the dio of an evil scientist's laboratory. That would be great. It would be a shame if he came with like a flight pod or something. Like if that's their big push, like Dr. Mindbender can sell on his own. Like give the flight pod to
Televiper.
Televiper, yeah. I'm trying to think of other small vehicles that Mindbender would be synonymous with. A Fang, but that's getting big. A lab coat, maybe. Yeah, maybe that would be a good accessory considering how much flesh he's showing. But let's move right along, gents. We still have plenty to go.
All the stuff, all the toys.
All the things. Boom. Stalker. Hoo-hoo!
It's really good.
It's really good, but man, I don't know. The way they photographed him makes his eyes look.
This
really
photograph
disconcerting.
sucks. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm putting that right out there. There are better photographs of this figure. So
yeah. It seems that his pulverizer is completely modular. There's like a shroud that can go over much of the barrel, and there's a silencer that he can take off the pistol and put on the pulverizer. And there's obviously a stock that you can add as well. All these parts are separate in the blister. But let's move on to another.
Would this be regular Stalker, or is this Nightfall Stalker?
Good point. No, this is regular Stalker. They seem to have gone with this like almost ashen gray, green.
It reminds me of those earlier modern era Snake Eyes.
In fact, there was a Stalker.
That's kind of like the body that they built off those Snake Eyes, wasn't it? The first Stalker was,
shared the same body, but a later Stalker, I think Pursuit of Cobra Stalker, Paul, with the dreadlocks, he also had this kind of very deep green.
Yeah, like a grey green. Yeah.
Which is a sensible choice for a modern presentation of Stalker, but perhaps not one that is making our nostalgia bells tingle like obviously like Mindbender. This is kind of like Call of Duty-izing Stalker, if that makes any sense. It's a safe modern era action figure, army action figure presentation. That's where I'm trying to go with that. Here we see the package shot with the loose figure side by side. The magazine box, the bullet box for his machine gun is stored on the figure's thigh, which is interesting. I don't know if that happens in real life. I mean, it seems like a bit of an unwieldy thing to put on your thigh, but whatever, man. Who's to say? It's nice that he can store all his stuff, basically.
I think this is one of those classified Joes that, you know, a lot of people might look at it here and go, whoa, and when they see it in hand, they're going to be quite pleasantly surprised. I kind of had that effect with Flint and Lady J. Earlier comments, I wasn't negative towards them, but I didn't think that they were the best they could have been. And having them in hand, I'm like, oh my word, Flint's head sculpt is incredible, and Lady J is just incredible, for me anyway. And I've got a feeling this guy might be the same kind of vibe. I think when you have him in hand, it'll make a lot more sense. Because it does feel like a big modern era figure to me, at least.
So just trust GI Joe, trust Hasbro, buy the figure, and you'll be happy once you own it.
No, I think, a lot of guys will have the benefit of seeing this in stores in the States. So, I think that will...
Okay.
I think maybe just keep the money aside. Maybe you're not thinking of grabbing Stalker, and then you see him in Walmart or whatever, and you're like, oh my word, this is actually really great. I wish I had $23 or whatever it is for a GI Joe. Looks like we're eating noodles this week. I should have listened to Paul. Said no one ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I can confirm that.
Stalky Stalk. They've
take
taken
some
a very
huge...
tasty dio shots of him, though.
There we go. That makes me go, yeah, I want this. You can hear the police sirens and stuff, And the fanfare of like a marching horde in the background. And him sneaking. Sorry.
Well, they had some great setups with multiple Cobra Vipers and a big old gunfight happening. But this is some tasty stuff happening here. We've got the Crimson Twins pictured with Cobra Commander, and Stalker's about to lay the pain. And man, you could take out a big swath of Cobra leadership with one burst, but yeah, probably isn't going to go that way.
He's like, yeah, sucker, I broke your goggles. Actually, I can't take credit for that. Your goggles broke themselves.
You're referring to the dead Viper on the floor.
Dead Viper. Yeah.
Look, it's an impressive set. Definitely some time, effort, and money went into building basically a city street, complete with buildings and broken down walls, wiring going everywhere.
This is so cool. I love this. It's like Stalker gets his Snake Eyes moment.
He's rappelling down for building using what looks like just cabling.
No, earphone cables.
Exactly. That ain't a rope. Jeez, you gonna trust your life to that, Stalker? All right.
I would, if it was that scale. Guys, I just want to mention this diorama. They showed it a bit in the live stream.
Yeah.
And it was very cool to see how big it is actually in the live stream. And the dude presenting it.
6-inch figures, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have just made it like walled in, but it's actually quite an expansive set. They've really built it up quite a bit. And the dude that presents it all, I think he's just a really cool guy. Like, he's got this real, he's just such a, geek. To me, I just feel like he's more, of a geek than everybody else in that presentation. He's really into the toys. You can see he's, he digs it. I think he was involved in building this diorama and stuff, and I think he may have been involved in designing some of these figures, actually. But he's having his best life right now. I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was pretty cool. So
yeah, man. I don't have a picture of it, but Stalker posed kind of vaulting off the back of a Viper while knifing him in the upper chest and then shooting the other Viper. That took some crazy balance game. I'd say, for my money, a little too fiddly for its own good, but impressive. It's an impressive pose, just not one that I would kind of realistically make my figures take.
Do you feel like Hasbro has upped the ambit a little bit on their whole approach to GI Joe? Do you feel like ever since the Sky Striker got funded, all of a sudden that live stream, the presentation of that live stream has changed entirely? It's gone from we're talking about GI Joe to this big table, and now they have pre-recorded sessions and have all kinds of stuff, and now they have this amazing photography and everything. It feels like they really are putting their weight behind GI Joe. It's cool to see. It's exciting to see.
Well, I checked out on Instagram a picture of Lenny Panzica with a massive pallet, sort of a trolley of GI Joe boxes, and a Defiant still in its brown box sleeve, stuff like that they have imported in to put on the set, and it blows my mind, man. Like that stuff was still out there, like in Hasbro's.
Wow, they probably got a lot of stuff like that in archive. I mean, I've heard of that, and I've seen pictures of that on that Toys That Made Us documentary. I'm not talking about Hasbro, but other toys companies do have archives and stuff. I feel like there's one figure.
It took me a while to determine that they weren't with a like using a green screen, because they were so like the footage of the people was like the background was super sharp all the time and in focus. And sometimes the footage of the actual speakers, the panel, was less than sharp. So I was like, that background isn't changing at all. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Another observation that's neither here nor there is, for whatever reason, they had the Desert Fox and the Arctic Blast. And the Arctic Blast was referenced in the damn rap. And I know Arctic Blast is a fun-sounding name and everything, but like that's getting a push, which is interesting. Such an obscure vehicle.
Sounds like a Powerade flavor.
Did you notice that they stripped all the weapons and missiles off the Arctic Blast and the Desert Fox that were in the set? The Desert Fox didn't have its missiles or its gun, and the Arctic Blast, they went as far as to even remove the rotary barrel cannons in the front, the Gatling guns.
I think they just bought them at a yard sale.
Okay, but it's just it's curious to me that they didn't include any of their like specifically weapon parts. Structurally, the vehicles are complete, but they didn't have the turrets or it's not. Yeah, as I say, neither here nor there. But just something that struck me that uniformly, I wasn't seeing any actual guns in the set.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that is very interesting. Well, let's put it this way: there's a lot more effort. There's lighting in that shot. There's like interesting lighting, and there's moody stuff going on there, and then there's all the other good thingies. But there's one or two more toys. There's one more toy after Stalker, I think.
With the huge focus on Stalker, I feel like this is the one Steven's going to get. I mean, he had like 100 pictures of Stalker compared to every other one where there's like one picture.
No. Once again, the third time on this show, I'm going to credit Chris McLeod. These are all the images that he pulled. And I would have shamelessly
so Chris is a huge Stalker
fan. Well, no, I think they just went to town with setting Stalker up in that Dio. And so they showed off multiple shots. But you will see some Dio shots of these boys. We're going to get into the twins, man. This would be Tomax, the unscarred brother with the smirking head. We see them in package with their MP5s, silencers, 2 knives each, those kind of curlew, I don't know, not curlew, what's the word? You know, Paul. Very wavy blades.
Yeah, it's like Flamerge, but what's the other one?
Anyway, they're double wielding knives. They've got 2 knife sheaths, so that explains that.
I think it's cool that they got 2 knives. They're like, we're the knife guys. Where's that from?
I think I said to you offline, Paul, immediately. I asked, like, what gear do they come with? Because if they've got packaging shots, we now know what they're coming with. And you're like, yeah, it's pretty light. I mean, the Crimson Guard commanders never came with heavy amounts of gear, but they did come with that skyhook, which tells me that they're holding that in reserve for the 2-pack. The inevitable vintage card or vintage box style 2-pack.
Hold me, brother. We're going rappelling. What's the other? Ziplining. Wee.
I do have some thoughts on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This would have been a great place for a redesign, because even the original figures, I don't know, where's the briefcase? You already have the briefcase with money. I think you need that again with these figures, don't you? Or at least some kind of implied purpose that they do. I don't know. I'm just not feeling the old design on this one.
I suppose you're including something like that would speak more to who they are, rather than just kind of like twin troops. I mean, they almost seem like general troops rather than guys who actually have more to them than the attacking that they appear to be doing with all those knives.
I think it's very cheeky.
Oh,
not
yes,
to come with more accessories.
Yeah, firstly, you've got the reusing the same tooling. I mean, okay, mind you, they've had to inverse the tooling for the torso.
Yeah, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, just the secondaries are different, right?
Yeah, so they actually they're saving on their tooling because they're using it twice, or using one set of tools for 2 figures, which is great. Then on the other side, you have to buy both of them. So so Hasbro's making profit off you buying them twice. And then I've also read somewhere that they want to put them in different stores. So they want to put
No, Paul.
I saw that comment now too. Gary
No,
was like, the funniest picture he saw was Tomix is a Walmart exclusive.
Yeah, no, I saw that, but that
is
because
a meme.
yeah, but Hasbro wants to do like a whole scavenger hunt thing. So that's how they want to distribute the toys. So apparently that's the model. So you're gonna, I suspect you're gonna find like Zaymot and Tomax are gonna crowd certain states or certain towns.
Real. It's totally
and then
real.
Tomax is gonna be in another town because of the way they're gonna distribute it. This is gonna be a cluster F for Hasbro, I think.
Ooh, shots fired. Okay.
No, I think the toys are great. I love Zaymot and Tomax, but they've made it hard to get, and also it feels like you have to buy it twice. You're not scoring. It's not like, oh wow, if I get this figure and I get this figure, I get awarded for buying them both. You're just like, I'm broker and I have 2 of the same toys. I don't know.
And then I'll have to get the inevitable 2-pack because I love the packaging so much. Hey, it's the first time I've noticed that the shoulder pauldron is attached to the sash.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
it
even
makes it
cheaper
easier.
tooling.
Even cheaper. Well, I mean, as a lot of people have pointed out, and Bart even succinctly says, why are these single carded? Like, who's just getting one of them?
Yeah. Who's just gonna buy Tomax?
I only want Tomax. He's my favorite twin.
He's my favorite twin. I really love the way he says, them.
Oh, guys, it's money, baby. It's all
Yeah. And of course, I mean, then they like doubled up on all these photo shoots that they did.
Well, I do like the fact
they
that
have them together, because then you could have actually had
are in this interior.
Yeah, it's a nice change.
I saw your comment, Ryan. Thanks, dude. They photograph very well. That's actually a cool thing. Like, guys, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like these. I like them. It's just that as somebody, like not being in the States, and I know in the States it's already a butthurt to do it. Now times that by 5 here in South Africa, where I have to get them both. I can't just get one of them. And I have actually pre-ordered these on BBTS. And I know when I send them to myself, it's going to be like, I have to get these too. That's money I could have used for Spirit. Now I have to buy Zaymot. Rob understands.
All right, let's talk about some O-rings. Hey! The officer and trooper 2-pack pictures are replete and interesting. I mean, they are definitely embracing this like box with extras approach. I suppose they need to justify the added cost. I mean, it's essentially a $20 figure, and it's a vintage O-ring. Thoughts on that, gentlemen? Who is excited
Very
about
basic looking vintage O-rings?
You don't like the original team, hey Rob?
Well, I don't know. Like, if you're gonna redo figures, redo like slightly more detailed ones. I mean, I understand doing these ones. You kind of have to get through them to get to other characters, because they're kind of like troop builders, I suppose. And also, you're building up the general. You're rebuilding the base of O-ring again if you are doing these lines. But give me other characters. I don't know.
I think devil's advocate there is I think a lot of guys are very excited at the prospect of getting troop builders.
I'm sure they are.
Irrespective of irrespective of the fact that they're $20 each, essentially, that's $40 for a pack. That's still cheaper than one of these, by the way. One of the
still with us,
ones.
Paul?
Yeah, should be.
Oh, am I frozen?
I can hear him.
Cool. Sweet. Well, then
You're
I'm just
frozen.
gonna keep talking now.
My turn for a technical glitch. continue.
No, I was just gonna say I think a lot of the troop builders are very happy about these. A $40 pack, or it's a $49 pack for the two, if I'm not mistaken. That's still cheaper than buying one of these guys vintage. Okay, it's marginally cheaper than buying one of them. It depends who you get it from. So there is that one.
Hey, it's still cheaper than the original, says GI Gary, and I agree with you, man. Like, it's certainly these army builders are becoming absurdly priced now. So yes, a troop builder 2-pack for $40, you could do far worse. But still, it's mad money, man. If you want to build an army out of these guys,
much easier than building money. Yeah, building money. It's much easier than building a vintage line. And also, sorry, Rob. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, it sounds expensive, especially when Photo Viper points out he got a 10-pack of Black Major blue shirts for $90.
That's also true. Figure. That's also true.
You have options. It's wonderful. But if you are a Hasbro purist and you haven't dabbled in the third-party stuff, you got it, baby. It's back.
Also, reaction figures are $20. Okay, they're $19.70 or whatever the shit it is. And you get 5 points of articulation, and you got these for like $20 or $24, whatever it is. And they got all of the articulation. It's like the value proposition is still fair. And also, just to answer Kyle A's question there, are 82 figures really falling apart? No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Just, the plastic is weaker and stuff like that, but they're not like exploding on our shelves or anything.
Well, it depends. I mean, someone pointed out that they're happy to get these new ones because their figures are. It depends on the condition that your figures are in, I think.
I just don't want to. I don't want Murphy to intervene here, but
I think you. Most folks are pretty wary of how they handle their particularly 82 to 84 action figures because of the brittleness and the thinness of the plastic. I mean, they're pretty finely molded figures. So to have these guys, particularly these guys who are your baddies, who you need to make fall over, it's nice to have some figures that you can carefree handle. I think that is the biggest takeaway from seeing people's comments about retro Snake Eyes and Storm Shadows. Like, finally they can make these classic figures or classic reproductions of classic figures do battle carefree. You don't have to worry about paint scratches and cracked thumbs and the laundry list of classics or of retro O-rings. Yeah, and absolutely it differs from figure to figure. Photo Viper is very quick to back us up. Certain figures deteriorate faster. It's true, absolutely. Like, try and find thumbs on a Zap.
Crotches on a Scarlet.
Crotches on Monkey Range.
Gosh darn.
Alrighty. So, have we said all we need to say about the blue team? What else is... Oh, okay. Paul, Viper 3-pack. Go.
Yeah.
This is smart. But I'm hoping that this helps, people get their army builder fix and helps other people actually get their initial purchases of the Vipers. If you guys missed out on Vipers the first time, I suspect these will have a few improvements. Hopefully the goggles would have been a slightly, maybe a more durable plastic. That would be nice.
There's muzzle flashes as well. Is that new?
Yeah, those muzzle flashes are new, and you're getting a whole selection of really cool, fantastic weapons there, which is great. So if you did miss out on it because somebody in your neighborhood bought all 10 of the Cobra Vipers in your local Walmart, hopefully this is going to help you get your hands on one for yourself, and you can laugh all the way to the bank because it'll be a little bit cheaper. The
fan base is loving the additional weapons, but still no classic Viper weapon.
Thank you. That was the last thing I wanted to mention now as well.
That's going to be in the 5-pack.
Where's the Viper gun? Yeah, that's going to be in the 5-pack. That's going to be with the I don't know, the Sonic Fighters paint job of the Viper. Sonic Fighters.
They have to sell it to you somehow.
And guys, this retails at $90, right? For the 3-pack.
Yeah, so it's either this or Baroness and Mega Hiss.
The
choose
box
wisely.
is windowless.
Yeah, these figures aren't cheap, Cujo.
Well,
What do we say about that?
they must think that the world is going to end because they're only marketing to adult fans. Parents aren't going to kick down this kind of stuff for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think this is the last figures we're covering, right? And then I'll have kind of like just a closing statement. But please say more things about the Viper.
Well, I think the cat's out of the bag. This is absolutely only an adult collector line. Clearly, we have enough money to throw at this stuff to make Hasbro no longer hanker for the child market.
Well, then why won't they listen?
Han Solo over there, by the way.
Brah. Yeah, one hand.
But I mean, the thing is,
right
they
flash.
have started making. I mean, this is definitely this is for the collectors. Strangely enough, but then they've also done the value line, which is also 6-inch figures, but with like 5 points of articulation. Essentially, reaction figures at a bigger scale. So they're trying to hit the kids again.
There's a Hebug thing I'm going to mention a little bit later if we get a chance about that.
Probably won't.
But yes,
No.
Rob, I take your point.
We're ending right now. No Hebug. You
But,
see, 5-pack.
Paul,
5-pack.
you're not signing
Look
up
at
for
that
this.
art.
Yeah, there are 5 Vipers on the art. Ooh. I smell a lawsuit.
Dude, did I pre-order one of these? Yes, I did.
That's
Bravo.
false advertising.
Because it's on BBTS. I don't have to, it's not through
course you
Target or
pre-ordered
something.
it.
I could actually get this.
Of course, you
yeah.
pre-ordered it.
Dude, of course I did.
That's good.
That
I
means
hadn't
you get a
noticed
Viper,
before.
Steve gets a Viper, and I get a Grey Viper. We all win.
Then who gets the packaging?
I do.
Ah,
I hadn't
Because I have to
noticed
pay for the
before, but
shipping.
I hadn't
Sorry,
noticed it
Steve.
before,
Alright,
but
fair enough.
I've zoomed in on it now. It says plastic-free packaging on the box. So big corporate brownie point. for
Except tape
Hasbro
and
there.
glue.
Except
Yeah.
tape and glue. But cool, here we go. I mean, you now have to just take them at their word that there are no factory errors. But hey, it's not like you have a choice anyways, Paul. Not only is it ordered online, but it's sent overseas in very convoluted ways. So there's not much likelihood of you returning them to the store.
yeah,
If
by
you
the
got a
time you
wonk-
get it, it's
A wonky
done.
eye.
It's a new custom.
Bart's
They certainly
asking for grenades. Bart,
Ah,
really, brother? Really? They're called Xanax. Just joking. No, I'm not. Why the muzzle flash? We can't imagine the gun going off anymore. We need
Dude,
help,
it's fun.
guys. I need
Muzzle
to see
flash.
it.
apparently we need the muzzle flash.
Dude, I hear you on that. I feel you, but I've got a muzzle flare for my for one or two of my Transformers toys, and it's a lot of fun actually.
Well, it's like Steven pointed out with the HasLab Sky Striker. He's happy to see the Sky Striker, but you can just completely throw away all of that extra flash.
I think he's gonna
It's-
eat those words when he has them.
Oh man, what? I'm gonna stick pieces of hard candy into my beautiful Sky Striker's tailpipes.
I also
Forget
thought they were done
that.
until I got my Transformers figures, and I've got 1 or 2 Gundam figures that come with these kind of things, and it's actually quite fun.
Well, Gundam
But
figures
Paul-
is fine because those are for posing, but like
Yeah.
You're all
Figures you
about
play with.
posing. You're all about putting stuff on your shelf in like very extreme poses. I'm like, let me put the toys in the drawer. They're ready to play with. Like posing and shelving is restrictive to me. But I realize that I'm an outlier in the collecting world. I see a lot of people with like the collection rooms and everything needs to be posed beautifully. Like I'm not that guy. Like the
Well, there's
the
nothing wrong with being the
rougher.
outlier either. So,
I suppose so.
well, I mean, as some people
look
pointed
forward
out,
to
it
you
helps
seeing
with
me
people
not
who
eating
take
those
the
words.
pictures. So the people who take the pictures appreciate these editions. So I think there are obviously people
Yes,
who like
it is very
them
much geared
and want
towards
them.
toy
So-
photography. Well, toy photography is huge, and it's a huge outlet for people's action figure collections. It's just not mine.
this Grey Cobra Viper is kind of a dickhead, hey?
Why?
just
Because it was in
saying.
front.
I saw him. He's like Han Soloing a rifle, an assault rifle, and here he's like, he's shooting. He's doing a typical movie Nazi villain shooting pose. You know?
With a hand behind the back.
Yeah, it's just. I'm not saying that it's like inherently evil, but it is definitely seen a lot, used by villains in movies a lot, and Nazis in particular they like to do that quite a lot. Like, I'm only going to lift one hand to kill you.
Nice, very nice. All right, we've come full circle, gents. We're back to the hiss and Baroness. Quick flick through the photos, and we can then move on to something else. Codename Failsafe. We now have the name of the backseat man on the Sky Striker. All I'm going to say is this: they have penned him as a pilot in his own right, and that doesn't jive with me, because what is a pilot with his level of credentials and experience doing in the back seat? Like, that irritates me slightly. Like, make a dedicated weapons control officer, or radio intercept officer. Like make him what he's meant to be doing. Make him that specialist. It irritates me that they try to make cake, have cake, eat cake, and still have cake, by making him a pilot as good as, if not better than, Ace. And it kind of makes Ace look like a bit of a chump. It's like, particularly the quotes at the bottom here.
Yeah, for important missions, you send Ace. For vital missions that absolutely have to succeed, you send Failsafe along with Ace to guarantee results.
Does he make sure
It's like sitting in the back
Ace
seat,
to
like
bring
the
the plate
back seat
back?
driving, essentially.
Yes.
That's cheeky, man. And also, this commits the same great sin that later file cards did, in that it paints the Joe character as this unassailable pro with no character quirks or foils. Like, this guy he's perfection.
File
Even down to
card fail.
that dimpled chin and that winning grin. I'm like,
I'm surprised he's not from Rhode
File
Island.
card fail. It's not just
Peter
fail
Pilot.
safe on the file card, it's fail in the file card.
Anyway, whatever. I'm nitpicking, I know. But
No,
that's how
I think you're
feel.
100% right. He's a Mary Sue, for lack of better words.
But I say thank you to the team at Hasbro and GI Joe. Like, this is an exciting start to the 40th anniversary, and I'm sure it's just going to keep trucking from here, boys.
They're definitely trying a lot of new things.
Hey, so just to go by Emily's past reveals, she told us how her favorite figure was Mindbender, and now we've got a classified Mindbender. And then she showed us the fishing bazooka. Do you think that means we're going to get fishing bazooka in the near future? I think so.
Definitely.
Complete with fishing rod this time, not just grenades.
I almost want to put money on it.
Yeah,
Almost.
I'll believe it when I see it, Paul. I think that was just them being random and fun, which is something they tend to have a lot of on these live streams.
Yes, because
we haven't really spoken
corporate's
about
all about fun.
We haven't spoken about the presentation, but I mean, there's obviously a lot of bluster, and I can relate, as having gone live a number of times and like it not going according to the way it was rehearsed. Sometimes when you do over rehearse things and you plan things ahead of time, they fall flat because they're planned. Like,
Yeah,
I think
'cause you
the
got no
whole idea with
plan B.
live, look, they had a partial script that they were trying to stick to, and that becomes a hamper to your actual like live presentation.
I agreed.
So I felt like they were constantly kind of saying things that oh man, this had gone so much smoother 2 days ago when we sat here and worked it out. Damn it. You know? So there was a lot of bluster is what I'm trying to say.
I just wanted to say,
turn quite a bit, eh? I don't want to attack the person, but like, she says things that she immediately feels like, oh wait, maybe I can't say that, and so I'm going to check with the people nodding to me off camera. Like, okay, surely
Well,
you
let me
know
make
you
it to
can
my
or
car.
can't reveal. Yeah, let me quickly tender my resignation.
Hasbro may have taken the weapons off the vehicles, but they can't take the weapons off the artworks.
No,
Let me,
Cujo, you had a point. Yeah, man.
No, duty calls here shortly. I have glitched out a few times. If you're watching and I was glitching at the beginning, but I'm not now, learn from me. I was on my phone earlier. I'm on a computer now. So
computers.
I think when it comes to GI Joe, it's 40 years old, right? They say your 20s are for messing around, your 30s are for whatever, your 40s you figure out who you are. So, you know, there's still time. I'm always going to stand community. We got so much talent over here, guys. Get somebody on screen over there. I don't know who these people are, and I'm sure they're great people, and I would love to chat with them at any time. But yeah, this is how the circle of life works. You got to support your community. I do believe you guys reached your Sky Striker goal because of community. So we help you. You can help us. And as far as like the presentation and the direction of GI Joe at 40, stay smart, guys. The reason why you're 40 years old is because you were smart. So plastic is nice. Presentation is nice. Hosts are nice. You know, Larry Hama continuing to write is nice. But let's get some edge back into GI Joe. I like Mindbender. It's a good pick. Mindbender is a very timely character to introduce right now. Oh, I get the stage.
Yeah.
But no, as for everybody in the comments, I can never remember everybody, but thank you guys so much for just being here, and because you guys, we'll get you on screen eventually. But no, I'm thankful for GI Joburg. I'm thankful for all the other live streams. And whether it's Action Force or GI Joe, I'll always be a part of this brand. I'll always be a part of the commentary. I realize you guys can't be my friends because of what I've said, but I'm always here for you, and I appreciate you guys. That's it. I'm out of fire.
Bart made a
You're
good comment here.
welcome, Cujo.
I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, okay.
I love it when I love it when you find a really great comment and you want to like click on it to share with everybody. But to paraphrase until I can find it, Bart basically said, Larry wants $1,000 per file card. I know this as fact, so they went the cheap route and was like, give this to an intern. Yeah, because the thing is, like with anything like that, it's all the pushback. I mean, the writing part has its own challenge, but I think the amount of finagling you have to do with people, I'm not surprised that like somebody like Larry Hama charges that much for it, to be honest. But cool.
I think there's a middle ground, man. Like you don't have to go to the source to guarantee a great file card.
I don't think so either.
I just think you need to understand what makes up a great GI Joe supporting cause character. Goodbye, Cujo. You need to understand that, like, do not try and make this guy overshadow Ace. Ace is Ace. People have been loving that figure since loving that character since 1983. So don't try and compete with him. Try and complement him, add to him. That file card does make Ace feel almost superfluous because
it's the writing of file cards from the 90s essentially. That's why I was like, I'm surprised he doesn't come from Rhode Island. I mean, isn't that like essentially where all of the really like out there ridiculous file cards are from?
Yeah, Mark
says he would write the file card, but I can imagine, Mark, your asking fee isn't quite $1,000 US.
Guys,
maybe it is. Maybe you're more expensive. Hey, but
the nice thing about somebody like Larry Hama in that situation is that if they go change it, he'll give them pushback. He'll just say no. And the thing is, it's very hard to do. So I don't think it's easy to find a middle ground with Hasbro, especially considering that the bulk of the modern file cards are written like Hey Ho, Bravado, Mary Sue, and the parade kind of vibe. So I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, that's like whatever, I think it'd be great if somebody in the hero in their
own right.
Yeah,
everyone is a hero.
And not everybody's a hero.
Yeah, I know that's what they were doing in the 90s, and I think they're obviously looking more at the 90s cards than trying to like make a cohesive team of people who have character and weaknesses, flaws, would make them more interesting. It's the first new character they've done in decades.
Yeah,
give them a chance.
Are you saying they're warming up, right? Rob?
Yeah, I think so. This is their fail-safe, and they'll get better as they go along.
I just
But
don't
yeah,
think
Got a
we're.
very big question in the chats.
Oh,
Or-
is it an
What do you
uppercase?
guys think about classified as a whole? Thank you,
Or-
Crystal Bollander. My journey in classified begins and ends with one figure, and that's the
Or-
double zero Snake Eyes, who Range Viper Rob very gratefully gifted me as a taste of classified. And while I adore this figure and he's gorgeous and I mess with him, I do. I am a slave to scale and all the greatness that comes at that scale. So my money goes in one direction only. There's no favoritism shown in my spending. It is vintage GI Joe only. So I've yet to get off the starting blocks with classified. I've yet to get off the starting blocks with Action Force. Like I don't have the scratch to throw around and dabble in various scales. Like I know what my sweet spot is, and I need this as a limiting factor to keep me from just like buying everything that looks cool.
Every single GI Joe thing ever.
There's a lot of demand on your wallet these days. I'm sure we all are all feeling it. Even if you are well off, like GI Joe is a ever expanding like black hole for expense.
Yeah,
So
there's
that's
tons of different lines. I think classified is a cool concept. I think it's a cool concept. I think they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. You know, they're kind of like marrying. They're making a scale that is obviously the very popular. The in scale now is the 6-inch figures. That's essentially what everything is made in. And so it interacts better with other lines that Hasbro's making, other toy companies is making. And I think in general, the redesigns are pretty good. They kind of seem to mesh together quite well. I think it's a cool concept, but yeah, it's not something that I as well would want to buy in general. I think GI Joe to me is the 3 3/4-inch figures. I can make allowances for the modern figures because in a way, we didn't grow up with them, but we did buy a lot enough of them to be able to play with them and have them mesh with themselves well enough. I think I'm probably I'm definitely on Stephen's side with this. Where it's 3 3/4 inches to me what GI Joe is. I think maybe it's kind of the same for people who grew up in say the 60s, where the original 12-inch Joes, that's GI Joe to them. Mm-hmm. What are these tiny little dudes and these slightly bigger dudes? They're still not big enough. Where are my 12-inch Joes?
I always thought Steven was a Sigma 6 guy only. Oh, man. Thank you for that character assassination right there.
I think out of the three of us, I'm the only one who owns a Sigma 6 figure.
I owned one.
No, Steven does.
I gave it to a friend.
Oh, you did? Did you? Which one? It was Snake Eyes, no?
No, I had, because I was in the United States during winter for the first time, and it was around about Sigma 6. I bought a cold weather geared Duke who came with skis.
Oh, cool.
And when I was leaving the States, my buddy who then became an illegal immigrant, he was staying, I was going, I was like, here's something to remember me by, dude. Here's my Duke. I doubt he still has Duke, but
probably get
Sigma
6 or something.
Sigma 6 was fun. Everything looks better through nostalgia goggles, right? Back then we were lampooning it, but now it's like there were some cool designs, there's some cool concepts.
Oh, the designs were cool. I didn't always love the execution though.
But this is not a Sigma 6 podcast.
No, this is a classified podcast, and I think so. Me and Steven are very much classified cool. It's just not necessarily for us, and I think after all of the pre-orders you've heard Paul placing, I think we can all know that his opinion.
Classified has been a very weird relationship because I wanted to like it in the beginning. It kicked me in the nards a little bit by being quite difficult to get hold of, and then a lot of the Berg Force actually went above and beyond the call and helped me get a lot of the figures.
You're an easy sell, Paul.
No,
they
but it's
you
not
a
just
couple
that,
of
dude.
samples, and now you're in.
No, but like if you look at Barbecue and you look at this Viper, for example, just as two examples, and you compare this to the Snake Eyes and to the Roadblock and to the Duke that was released in the first wave, I'm sorry, but it's like almost like two different toy lines. This sells me on Classified. This is exciting. This is where I'm like seeing all of this stuff and I'm excited. Like I'm like, yes, Spirit's coming, Storm Shadow's coming, Outback's coming. You know, Crimson Guard down the line with Serena. I'm like really, really excited about that. But I'm like, Hasbro, please just pace this out. Just give me a chance to save, dude. You know, like you're not the only game in town, okay? You know. Like,
yeah. Well, look, they've cornered the collector market, and they're gonna keep milking it because adult collectors can drop $300, $400, $500 in one go on pre-orders. I heard numbers being thrown out even in excess of $1,000 when this stuff went live. So the demand is palpable, and it's a demand that has deep pockets. So can you blame them? They're gonna keep making stuff we want. For my end, the only thing pre-ordered, and it was courtesy of you, Paul, was Mega Hiss. And that I'm so thrilled about. Like, when you called me, or I called you in the morning, like, I just woken up and seen the reveals, and I was like, I don't know, I'm a bit of a slow burn. It takes me a while to, like, really imprint these things and process them and want them. So, like, give it time. And you were like, no, but surely you want the Transformer? Surely, Steven. And yes, you were absolutely right, Paul. I did want it. And so my buddy, Mr. Deadly Pencils, didn't just order one for himself, but he pre-ordered two.
Oh no.
You crazy guy. But guys, we've been going 2 hours. It's flown by. Thank you, Cujo, for stepping in and stepping out.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And I definitely agree with him. I mean, community is where GI Joe's at. It's what's kept the brand alive for 40 years. I mean, especially, you know, in the periods where there were no toys being made. And now that they're making so many toys, I hope that they're listening to what all of us are saying, and actually appealing to what we want. Yeah, they need to. You know, as he said, you know, he will buy the cookies if you give him the cookies he wants. But the cookies he wants right now are homemade by GI Joburg, homemade by all the other wonderful podcasts and channels, HCC, that make all of this beautiful GI Joe content that I think he enjoys listening to and making himself as well. And hopefully, enjoy all of it, guys, and enjoy the fact that we are getting so much cool new stuff, and hopefully some of this will appeal to you. You know, it feels like it's kind of like a grab bag. They're kind of trying a lot of different things with GI Joe now. It's everywhere.
That's
and
exciting.
They got me.
Will appeal to you. Yeah, it appeals to Steven, it appeals to me. I mean, there's something in it for everyone.
Yes, thank you. I have been reticent up to this point, but there's absolutely no way I can't give modern Hasbro my money when it comes to smashing GI Joe and Transformers together. Like,
especially
yes,
the
please.
damn O-ring re-releases. Oof. But
yes,
guys,
so
just before
thanks for everyone joining us in the chats.
Yes, thank you to everyone, guys. We really appreciate that you came through.
Great usual
guys,
suspects, plus a few new faces. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And before we roll out the door, I mean, I'm sure we've got 5 minutes. It's not like a major thing. Anybody got anything new this week?
Anything new? I don't know. Paul, did you get something new?
I actually didn't, and it's okay.
You didn't
I'm
get
okay
anything
with
new.
that.
I know.
No, and it's fine.
It's awful.
All I will say is that I've got some things that have been sitting in the States that I've initiated shipping on. So, and there's my BBTS pile of loot sent me the mail, like, you better ship your stuff, you've got 5 days left. So I've shipped that. Yeah. So it's going to be pretty insane. But yeah, that's all that's coming my way for now. Oh, and and you guys will be very proud of me. I went to the shops today and they had a lot of the He-Man Revelation toys.
And you bought all of them.
I bought none of them. I bought none of them. This is still the only Revelation figure I have in my life. And maybe I will get Evil Lyn and Tila at some point. But they had Skelegard and they had Skeglo and Fistor and a very nice looking Stinkor, I might add. And a did I say Skelegard? Well, if I didn't, they had him. And I was like, no. It's okay. I gotta buy GI Joes, you know. And finish off my origin stuff. So yeah. No.
Well, as we are going out, and it was my birthday, I was fortunate enough to receive a package from Steven and Paul, and it included one of the absolutely awesome things that I did say that I really wanted this year, and that was Masterpiece Skits.
Yay!
He is
Sorry,
absolutely
I'm
amazing.
also like dying to see him properly.
I managed to transform him once last night. I need to transform him back into his vehicle mode.
Dude, did he come with the little motorbike?
No, he doesn't. He comes with so it's the figure and it comes with the two guns. So that's what he comes with.
So it doesn't come with a little bike. Interesting.
No, I think this maybe it's a deluxe version. So I got that, and Paul decided to send on a gift that someone else sent to GI Joburg and made it into my birthday gift. I think he's trying to encourage me to get classified figures. So a fantastic guy from Canada, Nelson, sent along 2 Snake Eyes. So Timber Snake Eyes and version 2 Snake Eyes.
So like Snake Eyes or Snake Eyes?
Snake's Eyes. And Nelson, he included a fantastic note to all of us, which I'd like to read as we're leaving now. He wanted to extend his thanks to all of us, to us, for always providing such a first-rate GI Joe experience. He's recently back into collecting since in his childhood and came across our YouTube channel a few years back. Since then, we've played a big role in getting him back into the brand, which he's thoroughly enjoying. Your content is so meticulously well done and entertaining that I'm always looking forward to what you will do next. And yeah, so he passed this along to us, and he hopes we enjoy them, and I definitely will. I may not be buying lots of classified figures, but this guy is actually pretty dope. Although I'm still confused as to why you're able to attach all of his weapons.
That's all of us. The only person who's not confused about that is the person who made it.
The weapon sandwich. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's got holes in it, and you can just attach all of it to his backpack.
You know what is kind of a cool deep cut is that the gun that he comes with is actually a Nerf. I think it's Snake Eyes or Duke. There's an actual real Nerf. I can see what you
guys were saying about like the original guns are like actually really quite toyetic, compared to later guns.
They are very off-putting. They hurt
they're still very cool.
Wave so badly. They're cool.
I quite like the pistol. I think the pistol's quite nice, and it comes with a silencer that you can add to it. But it definitely is very toyetic compared to ones that have later. And as you said yourself earlier, they have improved in leaps and bounds as they kind of discovered where they want to go with the line. They kind of realize, oh yeah, yep. Yeah, you're right, Photo Viper. There's no ways I'm losing these. I can just figure out how to reattach them again.
Dude, he says
thank you, Nelson, so much, and thank you to you guys for passing them along to me. I'm definitely very excited to try these out. It's nice to actually
to see that
physically
out of the box
have
too.
them. They are actually really good figures. I mean, I'm very excited to get Spirit now.
Yeah, we're all very excited. There's good toys in the air, guys. Well, some of them are only coming out next year, but every sight and every sound. Hey. All right, but anyways, it's Sunday morning here in Australia. It's time for me to do my parental duties.
It's Saturday night. I'm gonna get some sleep.
I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah.
It's also Sunday morning here in South Africa.
Paul, you're gonna do some DJ sets.
I might actually play some tunes.
Anytime I visited Paul in Joburg, like there was always this sound, like this reverberation going on, like Paul was busy live mixing something. Yeah, I don't know how much artwork you actually did.
I do lots. It's just that I'd take a break and I'd take like 15 minutes or 20 minutes and I'd just mix just to get away from my computer.
Funny guy. Anyways, once again, thank you to the 41 folks who joined us in the chat. We have eyes on us currently. There were more than that earlier on. And thanks for everyone in the future who is watching this on the replay, perhaps. Feel free to comment below. Tell us what excitement you got. What classifieds are getting your dollar? Are you in on Mega Hiss? Are you speculating as to what could be next for these Transformer GI Joe smash ups? Let us know your speculations. Put them, crystallize them, set them in stone in our comment section so that one day when you are proven right, you can refer everyone back to that comment that you had on that comment thread. Yeah, I nailed it. there on GI Joburg.
Yeah, and an episode section we'll call "I Told You So." And
Alright.
as we do our ninja somersaults out the door, I just want to quickly say thank you to our amazing Berg Force. You guys, you make all the magic happen here. Thank you so much for your support and your kindness and your awesomeness. We're so glad to have you here. And just to show you how awesome the Berg Force is, we have 2 pages with Berg Force on. And yeah, so guys, thank you so much. There's a lot of love here, and we dig it, and we dig you. And yeah, stay awesome. Until the next one.
GI Joburg.
Berg.
Berg.
Cheers, cheers.
Berg.